When it comes to blueberries, there are several different kinds. We have several different types just in the United States, but today I'm going to focus in on the three type that do the very best here in the southeast United States. In zone 8B, where it's hot and it's humid, and if you stay to the very end, I'll tell you which one is the best out of those three. Okay, when it comes to the three types, I'm gonna nerd out on you just a little bit. I need you to follow me. Don't click off. There's a reason behind the madness. First thing we need to know, all blueberries have 12 different types of chromosomes. They can have different numbers or different sets of these 12, but they all have these 12. This is actually a chart that was done by a research group that was trying to figure out the texture, which genes control the texture of the berries, and they have 17 markers on these 12 chromosomes. The first type we want to talk about is this Elliott's blueberry. This is a wild blueberry. I want to start with it because this is what is native. This was what was here before we developed the varieties that we have now. Okay, Elliott's blueberries are different than the other two types in this. They are diploid, which means out of those 12 chromosomes, they have 2 of each of the 12. So they will have 24 chromosomes total. And these Elliott blueberries are self-fertile. They are self-pollinating. And so, again, they're diploid. So for the 12, they have 2 sets of chromosomes for each homologous group. Now, homologous just means these chromosomes are alike. They're homologous alike, okay? And they have a lifespan of 15 to 30 years. Hang with me. This is important for the next one. The second we're going to look at is this southern highbush. Now, this is a misty variety, but it's still a southern highbush. Now, an Elliott's blueberry we looked at is a diploid. It means it has a pair of chromosomes for each of those 12 type of chromosomes. A southern highbush doesn't have a pair. It actually has 4 sets for each of those 12. So, in total, an Elliott's blueberry would have 24 chromosomes. A southern highbush in total would have 48 total chromosomes. And so the chromosome numbers are different. So if you ever played Tetris, tetra, 4, tetraploid, did I say that right? Close enough. It means it has 4 of these chromosomes for each of the 12. Now, to get a southern highbush, we had to cross a northern highbush with, guess what? An Elliott's blueberry. How did that happen? They have different numbers of chromosomes. Well, scientists took an Elliott's blueberry. They took a sex cell from this Elliott's blueberry. They didn't allow these chromosomes to separate. And then with the northern highbush, when the sex cell separated, sex cells have half as many chromosomes. So it had 2 chromosomes. And now they were able to cross the 2, Elliott's blueberry and a northern highbush, to make a southern highbush. Now, if that was clear as mud, all you need to know is Elliott's blueberry has 24 chromosomes. A southern highbush has 48. So it's really hard to cross them unless you do something with the Elliott's sex cells that causes them not to split the chromosomes. So if you want to cross them, it's going to be extremely difficult. So that's one of the main differences between our Elliott's blueberry, which is a wild blueberry, and our southern highbush. However, this southern highbush, we can have these because of our Elliott's blueberry. Now, I'm going to tell you the very best one for our area. The last one we're going to look at is this rabbiteye. Now, it's in full bloom. Bees have been on it all day, but this is the evening, so I'm hoping I don't get stung. But let's talk about the difference between this rabbiteye and the other two. Now, a rabbiteye doesn't have 2 chromosomes for each of the unique 12, or even 4. It actually has 6. It's a hexaploid, which means that it has 6 homologous chromosomes for each of those unique 12 chromosomes. Now, if that doesn't make sense, let's go back and just look at total numbers. An Elliott's blueberry has a total chromosome count of 24. And a southern highbush has a total count of 48. A rabbiteye has a total count of 72. So a rabbiteye has several more chromosomes total than the other two, but they still have those same 12 unique chromosomes. Now, this is why you can't cross a rabbiteye with the others. Now, probably in a laboratory you could, and maybe they'll figure out how to do that one day, but you're not going to be able to do this in your yard. You're not going to be able to take some pollen from a rabbiteye and put it on the pistil of the southern highbush and have a cross. You just can't do that just because of the different number of chromosomes. Now, with all that, let's talk about which one is the very best for this southeast zone 8B area. That's going to be your rabbiteye. Your rabbiteye does better than the other two in this heat and humidity. They live a very long time, like I said, well over 50 years. There have been several accounts of these rabbiteyes living that long. Now, Elliott's blueberry does good here because it has adapted here. It's native here. It only lives about 30 years though, and the blueberries are very small. I mean, tiny. In fact, the only reason we pick any of the Elliott's blueberries is because they're the first ones to turn. They're the first ones ready for harvest, so we'll get them. But as soon as these cultivars, as soon as these varieties start to make, we leave those for the birds. That's right. That's where that saying comes from. Those berries are for the birds, and these are for us. And so they're too small. Now that southern highbush, it does okay here, but most people report that if you put them in the ground, those southern highbush, that they don't do well in the ground. Now they do much better in a pot, but most people want their blueberries in the ground. And if that's what you're going to do, and you're in the southeast, you're in that zone 8, and you live in that hot, humid climate, rabbiteye is what you want. You want those hexaploid plants, that rabbiteye. I hope I didn't nerd out too much for you guys. Hope this helps you understand the difference between those three. See you soon.